that too. Were you going to plagiarize the whole thing for us? Do you have any thoughts of your own on this matter?
I have a friend of mine with me on the phone. Hopefully you guys can hear him. I talk to him a lot about a lot of things, but hopefully he can help me come up with some questions to answer for you guys with regards to what it is that I do as a trainer. What makes me so different? Why am I who I am? And why do I think my training method is above, not really above anyone, but the foundation to everyone else's method? I'll go into it like this and give you a little back history on me. First and foremost, I am a Jamaican-born individual. Yes, the country, not New York. I did grow up in New York, though, and as a Jamaican, I was born as an artist and was fortunate enough to have some athletic ability, so I was able to do some things in the athletic realm. Nothing massive, but I was able to experience some things that I feel helps me with regards to understanding how the body moves, how it should move. And because of my artistic background or gift, I was able to pay attention to things that most people don't pay attention to when they do actually perform their sport. So I stumbled into training as a thing because I was always injured and I was trying to figure out how to make myself better. I realized very quickly that most people don't care. They just go through the motions of whatever their job is and follow whatever they learned in school. So it's a regurgitation thing. And that's actually a problem for me. And you'll hear me talk about it a lot. That's why the science and schooling with regards to performance training or just training in general, I have a bad taste about that because I watch what people do and I see that it really isn't about you. It's about them just following a script as opposed to really being concerned and caring about what's going on. Anyway, because of my artistic background, I found that it benefited me in some capacity because I paid attention to details, to things that most people wouldn't take any care for, such as the nuances in how each individual moves and the fact that everyone has a weak link somewhere, no matter how good they are. And so I pay as much attention to those weak links as possible because anybody can lift some weights. It's not about that. It's about actually creating a better athlete with the body that they were gifted with, or a better human being, period, with the body you were gifted with. So that's my quick history, really quick history. I have tons of stories I could talk about, but I'll usually use those for, I don't know, when I have a need for them. But right now that gives you an idea of who I am. My training, how did I come up with it? It's just trial and error. You got to go through it. You got to feel what's going on, in my opinion. If you understand the feel of a thing, you develop more wisdom for it than if you just read it in a book and just regurgitate what someone else has said. Even with my training, and I encourage those who want to learn from me to ask me questions, to say, hey, why do you see it this way? And the book over here says this. Why are you going counter to what the book says? And what do you see that they don't see? I have that issue with people doing sit-ups and saying it's not good for you. A lot of things are not good for you, okay? Sit-ups is not one of them. Sit-ups actually, if done properly, and that's my key, if anything is done properly, or most things are done properly, they will benefit you. My thing with training is that I'd prefer to touch on areas initially that no one addresses, and then once I find that those areas have been addressed and are at their proper levels of strength and flexibility, then I move into the larger areas, which are typical movements for most people. So anyway, with all that being said, let's get with Mr. Harrison over here. Hopefully he has something to ask me about what I do and why I believe that my method is foundational and can be and should be used in everyone's training. You have any questions for me?
Well, yeah. First of all, I just want to back up a little bit.
That was fresh, wasn't it? I know you like it. It was cool the way I flowed with it.
It was okay.
It was all right.
It was all right. But no, as far as receiving training and paying for it, because I was thinking about you, but anybody, why should someone pay anyone to train them?
Why are you asking me the hard questions? You just come off with the hard question off rip.
Because I have only one. And that was it.
Okay. Why should someone pay for training?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. We all have like a talent or a skill or an ability of some sort, or where we've been a passion for a thing. So some people have a natural inclination to something or love of it, while others don't. Like, you may want to be a carpenter. You love, building houses, or you love working with wood or what have you. So you develop this ability that's exceptional due to that love and that daily grind on it and just the passion for it. And someone else who loves gardening may not want anything to do with, carpentry or woodwork. And so if you want your house built because you don't know anything about what wood to use, how to cut it, how to nail it, how to do whatever, how structures work, you have no clue. You're willing to trade your vegetables or food or what have you for that individual services. Now, that's how it worked in my understanding back in the day. It was more of a trade. Nowadays, it's been transferred to money, to a monetary way of showing someone that you need their services. That, to me, is what it is. Everyone thinks they know how to train their body. I could do a push-up, look at me. Actually, yes, you're moving your body up and down, but you're not necessarily understanding how to maximize the benefits of that push-up. Also, very big also, you're doing, as they used to say in the old days, more harm than good. That is a thing that I think most people have lost, that understanding of, hey, if I'm not doing this right, I'm causing harm that I will have to pay later on in my life. I'm causing harm to my body. The one thing that I have for free and I can use to just go through this life and enjoy this life. So you pay for it. I think you should pay for it, or anything that is a value. It's a value that I can bring to you to make you healthier, to show you better ways to do a thing. I mean, think about it this way. Businessmen, they pay thousands, if not millions of dollars to go to seminars, to learn how to do business. They spend a lot of time and money learning from other businessmen how to be more effective and efficient. For some reason, in the health industry, or quote unquote fitness, which I separate, in the health industry, that's not necessarily valued as much. You'll see a rich guy and he's fat as hell and looking like he's 12 months pregnant. Yeah, it's 9 months, but he looks 12 months pregnant, and for some reason that's okay because he has money. But what he's not understanding is, when you stroke out, and you will, somebody else is taking your money and doing something with it, whether it's your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, and now the gardener is driving around in your whip and hanging out and rolling through your wife, and
Yeah.
you made it possible for him because you did all the hard work, and because you were unwilling to spend some of that time on maintaining that health, you end up losing it. And that's sad to me. That's sad. If you're going to work that hard for something.
Thank you for it.
Yeah.
For making all that possible.
Yes. But it's people will spend the money on beer, alcohol, on a $150,000 car, everything else outside of their body. Everything. I'm talking homes, everything. But if your home burns down, you got insurance. You get a heart attack, you could be done. That's it. You get anything happens to your body, that's a major situation. And we don't think about it like that because we've been blessed with having a thing for free. And that's a very interesting thing. Think about this, man. Remember we were having a conversation about those closest to you, how those that are closest to us, we take the least, not care of, but we don't give them the type of love and treatment that we really should. We take it for granted in a sense. And that's what it is in a sense, is that you have something, it was given to you for free, so the appreciation isn't there as it should be. For most of us, not all of us, but for most of us. So yeah, back to the thing, yeah, you should pay for it, especially from someone who has a passion for it, who has shown you experience doing it, and honestly, who can show you that they can help you. For example, Nikki going to Ohio State University, and her strength coach calling and saying, hey, listen, I've never seen anybody come in here that is that well prepared, that is aware of her body, that can do anything I ask of her without any issues. Like Hannah with her scoliosis getting reversed, and a number of other clients that have had successes. I'm sure other people have had successes, but you have to check for that, not just the name and are they doing the same thing, but really what are they doing? Because it's your hard-earned dollar, and I think it should be paid for. Just to answer the question, it should be paid for because it's of value. If it's not of value, if your health is not important to you, that's fine. You don't have to pay for it. You can, bootleg it and try to do it yourself and all of that. That I have nothing against anyone who wants to do that, but don't hop on the internet and start showing people how to do push-ups and sit-ups and all squats when you really don't know. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's an old term, but some of these terms are valid. It is an investment.
Yes.
But if you have the cash, someone would suggest to you to invest in this stock,
yes,
or invest in that stock, and you're all in.
Yes.
Because you see the potential of that turning into more money.
Yes.
Well, if you invest in yourself, you also have that potential.
Yes, but it's more than that, because investing in yourself health-wise gives you healthier days, more healthy days than sick days,
Right.
more vibrant, clear thinking days. So you work smarter, you work more efficiently and effectively. Everything is elevated with a higher elevation of health. You know what I mean? You can do things more, as opposed to, you can fit more clothes. If you're healthy, to me, health, if done properly, is associated with a structurally sound physique where your clothing fits better. Put it this way, a supermodel, any one of them, pick whichever one you like. They could put on a trash bag and walk around. And guess what? Everybody wants to talk to them. People are interested in them regardless, because there's a physique, there's a way about them, the bag flows on them effortlessly and elegantly. Whereas, you know, fat as hell, like me, things don't flow as nice. And so there's a difference in posture. There's just a difference overall. And I honestly believe that not only does it affect you psychologically, it is physical, but it also, affects you psychologically. So you don't move with the same confidence. Even if you portray that confidence, you really don't have that confidence. And those of us who have an eye for that can tell that you're really not confident. You're just portraying an image. We won't go into what this day and age is with regards to fat shaming and all of that. I'll leave that alone, because that's another topic for another day. But that overall thing is a joke.
It's always funny to me that, you know, we gain weight and what do? We just buy bigger clothes.
Yes. Yes. It's like you get your house messy. Hey, let's just buy a bigger house. No, clean your house.
Yeah.
Okay? Fix the stuff that's in there. You don't need a bigger house. You need to take care of what you have, and that's our thing. So,
well, you know, that's the thing. We have a lot of the tools that we use are becoming more disposable. Printers, computers, tablets. After a couple of years, if they start to malfunction, you buy another one because they're disposable. And we're treating our bodies the same way.
Yes.
You
Agreed.
know, but it's not disposable because, you know, it's the only one you got. And yes, you could get a liver transplant, you could get a heart transplant.
Yeah.
Not the same as the original.
Nope. Nowhere near. It's funny. We want the new iPhones, the new whatever, tablets, the new anything, the new car. And these things, we will sit outside for hours and days, and we'll do whatever it takes to get these things. And we call them state of the art. They're not state of the art, in my opinion. The body is state of the art. What it is new.
Yeah.
There's a difference between state of the art and new. Is it? Yeah, I understand the definition. It's the newest thing, But the reality is, our body is constantly state of the art. When you compare it to everything else that we create, when you wear on a thing in a machine, it breaks. When you wear on a thing in the human body, it gets stronger. Unless you're doing whatever you're doing improperly, then yes, if you're doing it wrong, it will break. But it also can heal back if you know what you're doing. So the body is very forgiving, and it's just an amazing, if you really look at it for what it is. Truly look at it for what it is. You'll understand that the design of it is exceptional. It's exquisite. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It's so many things. And what we do is we try to mimic it, because this iPhone or the phone or all of that is based on, you know, how we process things. That's what they say, it's processing speed and retinal display, all of that. Those are mimics of the original, which is the human body. So we spend so much time focusing on what's outside of us instead of really what we have and what's inside of us. We look for everything outside. Oh, I have the nice car, I have the nice clothes, I have the red bottom shoes, I have this and that. I'm like, yeah, but your body is a hot mess. You got heart disease, you got lung disease, you got this, you got that, you got all these things that you've put upon yourself, and you really don't care about it. Yet you have these disposable items that you seem to put all your effort to work to get, which is amazing. I think people are afraid of pain. They're afraid of the discomfort of training. That's what it is. But, which is interesting, they don't mind hating their jobs and going to their jobs anyway. So the discomfort of the emotional strain on themselves, they're willing to deal with, but the physical strain in order to make yourself better, most of us are unwilling to do that. We're unwilling to invest the time, money, energy, all of that, the dedication. We're unwilling to do that. And a lot of people say, unwilling, no, I want to do it. No, you don't. Stop. You don't want to do it. Stop. It's not that serious, which means you don't want to do it. If you want to do something, it'll get done. We just have gotten lazy, and it is what it is. Just accept it. Just accept it.
Yes, I want to ask about that because it's a concept that I'm trying to wrap around and get used to. Because you're right, or I agree with you. The process of working out is not comfortable. It's sometimes almost painful. But I'm working to enjoy the process, and that doesn't mean I'm doing the workout and I'm laughing because it's so much fun.
You mean you're not doing Zumba where it's fun?
But if your mindset is right, you can enjoy the process.
Enjoy the process. I think you can appreciate the process.
Yeah.
I think the appreciation of the process, knowing that the results from the process, I think for me, that's what happens.
And appreciate might be a better term because it's being aware and being engaged into what you're doing and how it's affecting you. So yeah, maybe appreciate is a better term than enjoy.
Listen, all my few years of college athletics and going to school, I could never say there's one day that I said, wow, this is fun. Ever. Never. I've never thought of training as fun. I thought of it as a necessary task in order to compete, and the byproduct was a nice physique, a healthy physique, and just winning or the accomplishment of through competition. I liked that feeling after, let's say you would win, just the rush, the adrenaline and the accolades or whatever you got from that to me was where the fun was. There's no fun in waking up at 6 in the morning and it's 30 degrees outside or 25 or 20 and you have to run, 3 miles. Run 3 miles, not what the average person does, which is jog 3 miles. No, you've got to run 3 miles. And that was just for your morning workout, okay? So there was nothing fun about that. You know very well I hate the cold. I despise it. I do not like it in any way, shape, or form. I don't mind looking at it, but being in it is not my best thing. But I did what I did because I knew it needed to be done in order for me to reach the goals that I was trying to reach. Now, when I hear people talk about training and fun, for some reason my brain doesn't adjust to that very well. Because to me, when I used to go to the clubs in DC and in New York, that was fun. And so when I looked at what was fun and then I looked at what was training, the two never even came close to each other. So I was trying to figure out, where is this fun part that everyone keeps talking about? I see advertisements where everybody's smiling as they're riding the bicycles, the Peloton stuff, or doing any kind of lifting. And I'm trying to figure out, I don't remember that. I mean, I remember some of the cats who were way better than me that went to the Olympics. And I asked them, hey, is this fun? Do you like running? And they said, quiet as it's kept, I hate it. I hate it. And this is a number of people. It's not only one. There were 3 or 4 people that I've asked this, and they're like, no, I'm good at it. I enjoy what it does for me and what it can provide for me, but it's like fun. I hate it. I hate training. Sometimes I really have to force myself into it, but they said it's a necessity, man. You got to do what you got to do. Actually, I got a story on that. Here we go with my stories. We had to do this hill on the back of the field house. Now the hill was a gradual incline. I think we ran it up to 300 meters, I guess, and it was gravel. It wasn't dirt. It wasn't cement. It was gravel, like these quarter-sized gravel piece. So anyone who knows about running on gravel, it moves. It just doesn't stay there like you're hitting the cement or asphalt and just pulling yourself. It moves.
Traction is not great.
No. So you're running up a hill, 45-degree angle. Actually, it changes and it goes up a lot more than 45 degrees at a certain point. But I'm running this thing. We're getting ready to go down, and we're jogging down as a team to run these hills. And as we're going down, one of the guys is complaining. I mean, he's just upset. I don't know why we're doing this. I hate doing this, man. This is da 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 da.
All twisted.
He is not happy, and all of us are listening, but we're quiet. And one of the guys, the top dude, I can't remember his name, but he said, "Shut up, shut the bloop." He's like, "Listen, as we're jogging down the hill, it's like, listen, all of us hate this. None of us want to do this, but it has to be done, okay? You bitching about it ain't helping it. Nothing you're saying is making it any easier. So I suggest you shut up." We reach the bottom of the hill. By the time he's done, coach blows the whistle. We're off. Now, that stuck to me a lot. It made me understand that these guys running 44 seconds in the 400 and going to the Olympics had this understanding and knowing that this is what we do. This is necessary. This is not about, oh, this is comfy. If you want comfy, go home. Don't come out here. Just stay home and be happy with whatever is there. If it's being, unhealthy, fat, and whatever, just don't bring that here. That energy is not necessary here. We already know that this is what it is. So we're going to embrace it. We're going to give it 100% and understand that for every step that we make, we're going to be getting better. Okay? So dead me with that. I'm tired. I hate this. Stop. Just let's get it done and get it done as best we can and get better, because guess what? There's a meet coming up, and the guy that's going to dust you, he's not complaining about it. He's training extra, or he's more talented, or whatever it is. So, you got to get ready. And I don't want to hear it. I got to get ready. I definitely don't want to hear it. So that was interesting to me that I had learned that at that very moment.
Things out of what you said.
Yeah.
And that it's necessary, so embrace it.
Yeah.
And that businessman might think.
So no, I don't get that type of thing. The thing for me is this. Okay, I'm going back to I was going to say something, but I'm going back to me as a trainer. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things that happened to me is I was I don't know if yeah, I guess it's okay. I was blessed with the ability to draw from birth. I've never known not being able to recreate something or draw or copy what I see in front of me. I've never just known that. I've never had to think that, oh wow, I can draw. It's always just been with me that I can do this thing, that I paid attention to the smallest of details, because that's how you can transfer an image from what you see onto paper. You have to be aware of certain details and be in control of your arm, your hands, fingers, the entire thing, in order to do it in a way where people can recognize and say, wow, that's really well done. So because I had that, I didn't realize till much later as a trainer how much that benefited me over the average individual who's like, oh wow, I want to be a trainer. And I'm not even talking about the moms and the dads who, just decided they want to be a trainer one day because they trained Billy or whoever. I'm not talking about them, or the individual who never played sports but says, hey, listen, I want to be a trainer. Or the person who did play some sports but really wasn't at any high level. Oh yeah, I want to be, whatever it is. The individuals that just feel, I have a degree in this, or I took a test on this, or whatever. I'm so distanced from that. It frustrates me, because those are the individual that I feel kept me from reaching my full potential. Those were the individuals I feel in my school that didn't look at me how I look at my clients and say, wow, this gentleman here is designed this way. Okay, he has this. His injuries are here, here, and here. All right. Maybe it's because he needs to not lift so much in upper body, because his upper body really grows, seems a little bit out of proportion. Maybe it isn't. Maybe it's something else. But no one addresses anything other than, this hurts? Okay, let's do this. This hurts? Okay, let's do this. No one sits there and analyzes and says, you're out of proportion, you're imbalanced, you're not symmetrical. When you walk, you're walking with a limp on here, or you're pigeon-toed, or you're duck foot, or you're putting too much stress on this when I see you run, or when I see you move. Maybe you need more flexibility over here or there. Nothing of the sort happened to me. And so when I look at trainers, especially online, it's seriously scary how many people online are a detriment to not only what I do as a trainer, but they're really detrimental to a lot of other people. People are into trying to learn something, right? And so they will see something online, and because it looks cool, or it's oh, I can do a push-up too, they just follow suit, and they don't sit down and say, wow, I have a Bugatti. Your body's like a Bugatti, even better. Why are you listening to the guy who's packing your groceries at the grocery store? Nothing against that individual. They may know a lot, but the 99.9% of those individuals are not well versed in mechanics. So it's like asking that individual, hey, what do you think about, what I should do for my Bugatti, and how should I do this or that? Or even sending it to Jiffy Lube for oil change. Any of the basic oil change places. And feeling comfortable about it. You've got to look at it a lot more careful and with more scrutiny than just, hey, this is, you know, I'm Billy, I'm the trainer, and yeah, I'm yoked out, so yo, guess what? Yo, I could get you yoked out too. I'm like, why do you need to get yoked out? For what purpose?
How functional is that?
Yeah. Because if you think yoked out is gonna intimidate someone, I'm sorry, it's not gonna intimidate the right people. The people who are gonna do you harm are not gonna be intimidated by you being yoked out. Okay?
You're looking like Jimmy Steroid.
Because to me, when I see someone like that, I see opportunity. Because I know you're slow.
Yeah.
I already know. I can tell how you walk, how you move. Yeah, I know what to do. You don't see anyone who is now there's guys that are defined, but their arms are down to their side. They're designed in a different way. All the athletes I've ever dealt with that are professional, every one is designed in a way where their arms are to their side. They don't have it yoked out to the side. They're some are more muscular than others, but their movement is completely fluid. They may not be as flexible as I would like them to be, but compared to everybody else, they're definitely flexible. So they're quick enough to do what they need to do, and so they become the dangerous one. That's my job. My job, in my mind, is to get you to be as athletic as you can and as healthy as you can be. Not only for your sport. If you're not in a sport, that's cool. I don't. That's not a problem. But I still want you to be an athletic build. That's what we were designed for. We had to run down food and hunt it and do whatever we had to do. That's what we were designed for. So if you're not, I know our society has changed, but the reality is you need to maintain that kind of structure and ability. It's what keeps you the most healthy. So I think us sitting all the time, like me sitting on my butt right now talking, there's a purpose to it, but sitting is really not what we're designed to do. We're not designed to sit for hours at a desk and type and all of that. So,
our bodies need to be prepared to do work.
Yeah, there you go. If the lights go out, what are you gonna do? No one thinks, if the lights go out, I had my light go out the other day, about a week ago. And I was just like, wow, this sucks. It was during the day. Now I have flashlights and stuff, so I'm pretty good with if something happens like that. But if it happened and it lasted for any duration, I'd really have a problem, because you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared food-wise. You have to be prepared to walk long distances or run or be agile. I'm always talking a scenario of, what did we say? What did we say in frat? It's better to have and
not need
than to need and not have.
Yeah.
It's always better to be prepared and never use a thing than to sit there and say, damn, I wish. Those are the worst words you could say in a crisis. Man, I wish I
have this pain in my chest.
Yes. I wish I had, nah. It's better to say, hey, I have someone, I never used it. Okay, cool. Never needed to use it. Good. I got a compass. Never needed to use it. Cool. Then to sit there and say, man, I wish I had a compass. I knew I should have gotten one. Regret is the worst thing. So when I think of training, the general population especially, I think, dude, lady, please keep yourself prepared. Just because. First of all, you look hot. Just look-wise, you look hot. I have this thing, I think I told you, my training system is definitely the core. I am the core facility with the Way method, but I have a system specific for the general public called a Fit Society. Because I was thinking to myself, wow, imagine if our society was fit, like healthy fit, not just they looked fit, but really healthy. Imagine what that would look like.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Instead, we're a fat society, which is kind of sad, but.
And we're looking to make ourselves comfortable with that.
There you go. Yeah, even better.
To make it okay.
Back to fat shaming. You know, okay, let me say this. This fat shaming thing has got me on a twist. And it's an old thing, but it's really got me on a twist. Every time, okay, let's say I'm an alcoholic, right? I drink a lot, or I'm a druggie or what have you. What do they do with an alcoholic? You ambush him.
Yes.
You straight ambush him. Hey, Billy, guess what? Yo, we having a party at the crib. We got wings. We got da-da-da-da-da. You got to stop through. It's set for you. Blah, blah, blah. Billy's like, cool. I'm hungry. I can eat. So Billy shows up, plat out. He opens the door. There's a circle of people standing there as he walks through the room. And it's dead silence. And he's like, hey, what's good? And they're like, hey, Billy.
You know what this is.
Yeah, you know. And he's like, what's good? Excuse me. He's like, what's good? And they're looking at him like, you know what's good? He's like, okay, y'all ambushing me for what? He's like, dude. And now each person has to talk to him and say, hey, you know, you're messing up because da-da-da, you stole my camera, you slept with my girl, da-da-da-da-da. And they running them through the ringer, telling them, yo, you drink too much, you're an alcoholic, or you're on drugs and you're stealing my stuff and da-da-da-da-da, in front of everybody.
Yep.
And they're like, oh no, it's those who you love. Nobody cares. You are making somebody feel like the worst thing ever, because you feel that's necessary for them to recognize what they're doing and how they're hurting themselves, how they're hurting others, but really how they're hurting themselves. And that's okay. That's good. Hey, let's do that because it's alcoholism. Hey, let's do it because it's drugs. Yeah, we got to save you. Hey, let's do it for blah, 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 blah. But the second you look at Billy and say, Billy, you kind of fat, dog. You're really kind of fat. Which is a medical term, by the way. You're kind of fat, bruh. We got to do something. You really need to eat that extra burger? It's like, dog, you know, let's go jogging or something. Let's change this up a little bit, man. You know, you say to Becky, woo, like when that commercial, when that guy came out, that lady came out and said to the guy who was reading the newspaper, her husband, I guess, and said, do I look fat in this dress? And he says, you betcha.
You betcha.
Or the Abraham Lincoln one.
I love the Abraham Lincoln one.
Oh my goodness. A little bit. But it's funny to me that people have gotten so twisted up that you can't say you're fat. I'm the first one. You've heard it so many times from me talking about I'm fat. I'm like, yeah, I'm fat. Fat as hell. I gotta get in there. I'm the trainer. I gotta get in there. And some of my clients are like, listen, how come you haven't done it yet? You keep talking about your fat. I'm like, because I want you to understand that I know where I'm at. But obviously it's not that like pressing to me to address it yet. So otherwise I would have addressed it. And if I don't, that's on me. But I'm not afraid if someone says, hey coach, yeah, you know, you got a little extra right there. Absolutely.
Yep.
Do I need to get rid of it? Absolutely. When will you? When I'm ready.
Yep. And I feel like it's okay. It's a problem because most of us are heavier than we need to be.
Yes.
So if somebody says, oh, you're fat shaming, and I'm not going to step up and say, no, I'm not, because, yeah, I got a little bit too. So if they don't talk about you being fat, maybe they won't talk about me being fat.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I look at it different. Because I'm more than willing to tell people, yeah, I'm fat. No, you're not. Stop. Yes, I am. If you knew me before, yes, I am. Let me call Tiffany. Tiffany used to look at me and be like, wow. What'd she call me? Diesel Bear. And she kept doing that one. And I said, why do you keep calling me that? She's like, dude, have you really looked at yourself? You have an 8-pack. You're shredded. You're a diesel. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So I know I'm fat. If I asked her now, hey, you think I'm fat? She'd be like, hell yeah. No, you're not necessarily obese, but yeah, you could do something about that. But the
pack ain't quite deep.
It ain't, it's a keg. It's a baby keg, and I could see a line here or there squeaking through, but it's really a baby keg. And my little aches and pains are coming back. But see, that's the thing is, you've got to know who you are. Once you accept it, then you either accept it and love it, pay that extra 10, double fare for the extra seat on the airline, or get in the gym and work it off and shut up. Stop. It's not my job to sit back and try to save your feelings. That's your problem. You need to save your feelings. I'm just telling you facts. You're 5'2", 320. That's what it is. But
you gotta pay for that extra seat on the airline.
There you go. The extra seat on the bus,
You gotta sit at an angle.
Yes. If you go on a trip with your buddies, guess what? You might have to pay for a little extra gas because you weighing down the truck. I mean, it is what it is. You just gotta really accept. There's some people that I know that are big that I love to death because that are fat that I love to death. There's big people that are bigger. I know a couple of women that I find to be extraordinarily attractive because they're thicker, and there's a difference between thick and fat. And they're just designed a little bigger and thicker. I think they're delicious and beautiful. Absolutely, 100%. But you have to know where you have to be realistic. Now, with all that being said, I do need to say this. Don't get crazy. Don't get crazy. Don't think you're bigger than you are. Because people go the other route and say, oh, I'm so big, I need to lose more weight. Stop.
Calm down. Yeah.
Hannah is one of them. One of my favorite clients, if not my favorite client. Every once in a while, I look at her, I'm like, what are you doing? Actually, about 3 months ago, I looked at her when we were training, or 2 months, and I said, have you been eating? She's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, You got to do better, because I can see you're not, your muscle development isn't where I need it to be. And it's not that she tries to starve herself at all. Hannah, as far as I know, she just doesn't have an appetite like that. So she has to force herself to eat, which is fine. And she does that. But I tell people all the time, don't get crazy. Don't get crazy that way, and don't get crazy that way. There's a middle ground, okay? You don't have to be shredded and all perfect to be, where you need to be. Sometimes, middle ground. Everybody likes somebody different. Like some guys like the big girls. That's just what it is. And I don't mean big, I mean fat. Some guys are like, ooh, yes. I'm like, oh, okay. I remember a 7-foot tall guy, he says, nah, I don't like anybody over 5'6". I was like, you're 7 feet. I was like, yeah, little small ones, they're really nice and cute, and they talk to me, whatever. I'm like, hey, dude, that's your thing. Some girls who are 5'2" are mad because they want a taller guy, and they think, oh, I'm too short. I'm just like, you guys got to stop with this thing. Believe in self, first of all. Look at things as realistic as you can. Develop, that's the first thing. Develop your mind first. Recognize, hey, like me, I'm 20 pounds or so off. I got to lose 20, which means I got to transfer some of it to muscle. So I lose 20, really it's 25, but I'm going to gain 5 in muscle or so. So I'll be at a certain place. Now, am I going to stick to those numbers exactly? Not really. Maybe, maybe not. It depends on how it looks on me. It might be a little too thin for me. I might have to stay, you know, maybe 15 pounds. I got to lose. I don't know. We'll see. But I just am tired of everyone talking about fat shaming. We're a society of like parrots. We regurgitate what someone says. Oh, don't fat shame. Shut up. Then don't fat shame. Don't alcoholic shame. Don't drug shame. Don't anything. Because everything now is a shame. Don't do that.
Drug shaming me.
Yes. I should be able to take as much drugs as I want without you shaming me. Yeah, pretty much. That's what we've come to. So
I get into my meth every once in a while. You know, don't drug shame me.
Well, it's not only that. It's I want to be as fat as I want to be, and I need you to be happy about it. I don't need to be happy about it. You need to be happy about it. And now there's a difference between bullying, like picking on someone,
right,
and fat shaming to me. There's a difference. There's you calling somebody out and making jokes and all that. That's not cool. That's definitely not cool. I was picked on through most of my life coming up. So I understand what bullying is more than most people understand. Well, I wouldn't say most, more than a lot of people do. I was smacked in the head in high school, picked on, all of that. So I understand that place, but I also, it's not really a fine line, but there's a line there that says, hey, listen, don't pick on nobody. Don't just walk up to Becky Sue and be like, hey, fat ass, what's going on? Come on. Really? That's how you're going to do it? So that's a difference. There's a difference with that and saying, hey, listen, you know, you could lose some weight. And I'm not talking about some stranger talking to somebody. I'm talking about someone who cares about you, talking to you and saying, hey, listen, you could lose some weight, you know. Like me talking to you. We talk about it all the time.
And one of my boys. And I told you this story. He was telling me about climbing the stairs to go kiss his daughter goodnight.
Yeah.
And he was out of breath when he got to the top of the stairs. And you know, he didn't ask my advice, but I stepped I came out of pocket a little bit. I said, dude, you got to lose weight. You cannot leave that little girl without a father. And he wasn't pleased with me. I could have said, yeah, I know how that is. I didn't know how that was.
Listen.
I went up the stairs, and I'm not in the best shape, but I wasn't out of breath.
You know what's funny to me? And I should post this again. Will Smith had this thing on that he posted. Will Smith, yeah, everybody loves Will Smith. Will Smith had this thing on, and he said, and I'm gonna mess it up, of course, as I always do, paraphrasing him. He in essence said, stop worrying about how the message is coming to you. If the message is true and valid, that's what you need to hold on to. How it's said, how it's told, how it came, if they mailed it in dog shit, whatever it is, who cares? Is the message valuable? If you focus on that, then you're fine. If the message, is it true? Is there value in it? You gave him a fact. You gave him a truth. And instead of taking it like, yeah, you know what, you're right. I do need to get, yeah, okay, I'll work on that. You're right. Or saying, you're right, but yeah, it's not that serious for me. But you at least, don't be mad at someone for telling you the truth. I've been called plenty of names, and I've been like, yeah, sometimes, yeah, that's me. You can't hurt my feelings like that because I already know this. I've already looked into myself to know. I've asked you plenty of times, how do you perceive me? Am I this? Am I that? Am I that and that and that? And I've asked other people that I know, friends or not necessarily friends, and they've given me their honest opinion. And I said, don't hold punches, just tell me. I need to know. Because if I'm actually a dick, then that's what I am. And if I'm comfortable with being that, I'll be like, yeah, I am that. Or sometimes I am that. Which usually is the case for me. Sometimes I am that. But I don't necessarily mean to be that way. I just have this weird, sometimes non-filter thing that I've been told I don't recognize that I'm saying something insensitive. But I don't recognize it as insensitive. I just recognize it as information. And it just comes, I guess it rubs people the wrong way sometimes. And that's not my intent. My intent is usually all love. And I just want everyone to be as good as they can be to their potential. So.
Have you ever seen Broadway show The Wiz?
He's on down the road? Yeah. No, I didn't see it, but clips.
The character Eveline.
Mm-hmm.
Don't nobody bring me no bad news. And that's the way most of us are.
Yeah. Don't tell me about myself or my kids or anything. It's like, what?
Yeah. If I got 3 layers of fat on my heart and it's gonna stop any day, you better not tell me.
Yeah.
Because now I'm mad at you.
Well, even better, tell me nicely in a way that that I can digest in a soft. I'm like, what is that way?
Yeah.
That's different for everyone. What are you talking about? Hey, Billy, that 3 layers of fat on your heart. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's something you want. Listen.
But some people think that much fat on your heart is a good thing.
And now you got now you got a discussion that's a defense mechanism as opposed to, hey, I hear where you're coming from. I hear the concern, because when you said what you said to him, from what I heard, it was coming from a concerned part of talking about, hey, you got to be here for your kid, man. And he completely skipped past that and was just, oh, so you're saying I'm fat? I didn't stutter, did I?
Yeah, and this is right. And my thing is, dude, you got a mirror. I remember you in high school.
He got the funhouse mirrors.
And yeah, you know what you're seeing, and I'm seeing the same thing. Dude,
when I look in the mirror, I know what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I just haven't thrown up yet. So, because I'm right there. That's why I keep saying I'm going to do this video and start posting them of me working out so you guys can see what it takes to get in shape. But yeah, it's gotten to that point for me. You've got to look at yourself and say, okay, do I love myself? Because if you love yourself, you're going to do it.
And there you go.
If you truly love yourself and you understand what loving yourself is, you will do it. So what does that say about me? It says I don't love myself like I think I do. That's what it says. Because I'm obviously not, even as a trainer with the knowledge I have, I am not taking care of or making the time for what I need. Like they said in the Matrix, if you never take time, how will you ever have time? So you really got to put it down and say, this is what I got to do. Certain things are based on experience. And this is one of them. This is why it tweaks me when it comes to the fitness industry and everybody is they think reading is it. Oh, I read the book and took some tests and no. You have to go through. It's, and I know I'm please keep your thought.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I love bringing up this one topic. And this fits for the adults more than the kids, because I don't want the kids to hear this. So please cut this part off for the kids. Sex. Okay? If you can remember the first time you remember it? Vaguely. When you first had sex, the first time ever, you thought you knew. Oh, your boys talked to you, whatever. You heard it on TV. What? Yes, all of this, and you're like, oh, sex is this. When you first had sex, it was like, wait a minute, this is wonderful. I thought cheesecake and and candy was good. This right here.
This is all right.
So you look at that and how the experience changed how you perceived that word. Then you look at when you were actually beginning to have sex initially and how horrible you were at just jackhammering things and fumbling and stumbling, thinking you're smooth. You're horrible. And it's just an act. And then you get older to the point where you realize there's finesse, there's smoothness about it, there's a way about things, and each individual is different. So you've got to be aware and reach and be intuitive on how they're reacting and blah, 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 blah. And on top of it, you also learn what love feels like with sex. So now it becomes love making instead of just sex, and there's more to it. Now you're melding with someone and you're having this different kind of emotional connection and feeling that supersedes just the sex. So all of that I just mentioned takes years to understand and to grasp. And that's if you're paying attention. Some people never figure it out. It's just all sex to them.
Yeah, well, that's true.
So when you think about that, and the guy who read a book or the girl who read a book on sex, and then, oh yeah, I read the Tantra books of da-da-da-da-da and all these positions, or the person who watches porn only and doesn't know what it really is.
Right, have just the mechanics of it.
Yes, the mechanics of it. They don't have the intangibles. That's it. They don't have the intangibles of it. They don't know that, and this really fits with training. They don't know the nuances and difference. And I speak as a guy on women because that's what I speak on. Each woman is different. Each one has a little thing here or a little thing there, or they want this or want that. And you have to nuance that. You really have to nuance it and communicate it. Some people want to talk, some people don't want to talk. Everyone is different. So with training, it's the same way. It's the same tools, it's the same situation, same body, same whatever. And you're doing, in essence, the same mechanical thing, but there's nuance to it. And that, when I see training, that's what I don't see. I see hammering. I just see the 22-year-old or the 18 or the 17-year-old just going through the motions. Oh, this is great. This is great. Actually, not really. Are you considering the other person and how they're feeling? And are you... There's just so much more to it and so many intangibles that you don't think about when you're new to a thing that is not in the books. It's not in the manual. So to me, training is like that. It is an art form. It's something you have to really pay attention to and understand that even though we have the same tools in the body and as well as pretty much the weights and type of things we have, everyone has a little thing here or there that you have to finesse. Whether it's their feet, their toes, their ankles, whatever. There's something you have to finesse to make that person better. And I think in this society of quick, and let's have it fun and all of that, we've completely missed that. And we're not doing what we should be doing, which is involving passion and what is it, nuance. Understand? Does that make sense? Or am I somewhere off on left field somewhere?
When you talk about nuance and when you talk about experience, that 25-year-old person hasn't experienced getting in shape for someone in their 40s. 50.
There you go. Yep.
The body is different.
I could tell you as a fact it's different.
For how you lower your percent body fat is not the same.
No. Things you used to eat, you can't eat.
Yeah, exactly.
If I look at pizza, I'm fatter. I used to eat a pie and go to bed and wake up with like an 8-pack shredded and starving.
And now it jumps on you. It hangs on you.
I walk by and I get an extra pound. I'm like, wait, what happened?
It's like, hey, buddy, let me hang out for a while.
And it's harder to come off. So
that person that doesn't have that, practical experience,
yeah,
put it that way, may have read, well, I understand, Mr. Harrison, for someone of your age,
yeah,
you have to do this, no harm intended, step away from me.
yeah.
You need to miss me with that.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's, you know what? Back in the day, I keep saying this and going back to it. There were apprentices. If you wanted to be a blacksmith and make swords,
there you go.
Okay, you want to make katanas, because I use those because I love those. And it takes a lot of skill to make one and to make it properly and to make it artful. And so it's beautiful at the same time, as well as it's not going to break on a warrior. You had to apprentice for years underneath someone. And I don't mean like 5 years. I mean 20, 30. They had to apprentice for some time to understand how to read the ore. Which ore had more iron or less iron, which was this or that, whatever. So how much heat you need to use at what stage, and as the metal changes, because each thing is a piece of art, you have to have a little more, a little less heat to create what you want. You had to really become intimate and have an intimate understanding by doing and observing and feeling the process. If you were a terrible swordsmaker, guess what? Somebody survived after the sword broke. They'd come back and you wouldn't be alive.
Yes.
Because they'd make sure you were done. So you had to be good at what you were doing. There had to be passion behind it. There had to be pride behind it. And you as a student would never want to disappoint the teacher by doing less work or less effective work, or make less of a sword than he was making. Your goal was to at least match him, if not surpass him, and his goal was for you to match him, if not surpass him. So everyone was working towards a similar goal. Nowadays, hey, you got a test? Yeah, 20 questions. Yeah, buddy, get that done. Yeah. Oh, you passed. You're a trainer. What?
And it's just about getting paid.
Yes. People train nowadays, they're trainers nowadays because they find that it's, quote unquote, an easier way to make money. It's a hobby, I like doing it, so I might as well make some money doing it. Actually, that's actually the wrong attitude to have towards this. I think part of the problem is that the universities, and I put a lot of blame on universities, they have made this into a joke. I've been trying to get in contact with some universities to talk to them, to say to anyone and say, hey, listen, your curriculum must change in order for this to be successful, because the way you guys are doing things, it's ineffective and inefficient. You are just touching the surface of what needs to happen. You guys spend more times in the books and taking money from people than you spend on teaching them practical application on how to do a thing and why. Your students don't ask you why. They just follow and regurgitate what you tell them. Not everyone is supposed to pack on 20 pounds of muscle to play football. Not everyone. Okay? Some people, to be better, all they need you to do is fix their damn ankle because it's weak. That's pretty much it for him. Yeah, he can keep his size and do whatever, or you can add another 2 or 3 pounds. They don't understand the concept of diminishing returns. They don't get that. It's like, how do you not understand that sometimes too much is too much? Too much salt in a meal is too much salt. Now the meal is no good. Whereas the right amount makes it magnificent. So we don't have that thinking. We're fragmented in our thinking, like David Bohm, not David Bohm. His last name is Bohm, but the theoretical physicist that I keep posting on my site about, no one seems to understand what he's saying. He's really saying that everything is fragmented. We're not looking at things as parts of a whole. We're looking at it as from fragments of a whole. So things that we put together, we think, oh, these fit together, when in actuality, most times they don't really fit together. They just seem like they fit together because they're fragments, but when you look at it as a whole, you'll realize those fragments really don't fit. Anyone who's done jigsaw puzzles knows that some pieces look like they actually fit, but they don't. They don't. And after you do 2 or 3 connections, you're like, wait a minute, this doesn't work. What we're doing is we're like, oh, these go together. Oh, it doesn't really make full sense. Oh, we'll still go anyway. I'm like, no, you can't do that. You have to regroup, recover, and say, hey, this is not necessarily how it works, blah, blah, blah. What works for these guys doesn't necessarily work for these guys, and so forth and so on. And I say that with, here you go with your son, doing deadlifts. And we're like, what is the purpose of this to him? Because my buddies are doing it. Stop. Stop. You don't even know which muscle groups are supposed to be engaged. You have no idea how form and the different types of forms you can use. You don't know any other exercises to do than that for whatever that muscle is supposed to be. You don't know why you're lifting that heavy. Why are you lifting that heavy?
Yeah. What are you trying to accomplish?
Yes. What is the goal here? To get bigger? Okay. And by what means are you doing this? Are you aware that there's 30 different ways to develop your legs without engaging the back? Or, I mean, really think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish and why. Like the Matrix said, once I keep going back to movies, you know, me and you with the movie quotes. When Merovingian sat there and he said, why? Why is the power? You are coming at me without the why. Because people just follow. It's like, here you are coming at me with the why, without power. You come to me because you like following orders. Well, because you like following orders, let me give you an order.
I'll give you some orders.
Yeah, because we're not understanding that. You got to understand the why behind why you're doing whatever it is you're doing. What is the purpose, really? And the purpose is more than one thing. What is the purpose of the exercise, and what is the purpose of doing the exercise? So what is the exercise supposed to do, and why are you doing it? And what is the overall purpose of doing this particular exercise this way? So questions aren't being asked. What's happening is everything is being regurgitated, and if you take a test, you're validated. I call it certifiables. Not even that you have a certificate, you're certifiable. You're instantly part of the circus, and you've been certified as crazy, as not knowing what you're talking about or doing. Okay? Nothing is taught of true value, like the intangible things, desire and stuff like that. No one thinks about that. They don't think, how can you cultivate that? What is that? That's part of the mind. That's part of the focus. That's part of the athlete. Actually, it's the part of the athlete that can supersede the potential of the body in the athlete. So the athlete can now elevate to different levels that were not necessarily seen previously because of the mental aspects of their training or their desire or will, whatever you want to call it. You can tap into things that cannot be measured at this time. So that's my thing. My thing is, that's what I'm seeking. I'm lucky that I was born with the ability to see, the human body and certain flaws here and there. I'm not perfect, so whatever I can't figure out, if I have someone that I know has that particular skill, like the acupuncturist that I know, I send them, hey, go get that fixed. I can tell it's this or whatever, but it'll take too long for me to fix. So go to them, let them open up your channels, let them stretch, whatever, let them do whatever, and then we can work together to get you to where you got to go. I've been trying to tell people that all the time. You got to let the ego go, even as the trainer, which I have fortunately done. I'm not saying I don't have any ego. Everyone has it to a degree. It's hard to, you got to fight with it. It's a constant thing, but you got to just have the intention or the desire for the client or student's best interests come before you. It has to. If it doesn't, I don't know what you're doing. And those are the things that are not taught in the schools and in the programs or in anything. They all know it all. I've been certified with NASM, and I went to school and got this degree, and I'm a doctor of this. So? I don't want to hear nothing you're talking about on the basketball court if you're not Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Steph Curry, and a couple of others. Don't talk to me. I don't care what kind of degrees you got. I need the guy who's in there dribbling millions of dribbles, millions of shots. That's the person I want to teach me. The baseball player who's played it. I want the people who have done it to teach me. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't like a one-off that isn't good, that can't teach me. There is always an outlier. Someone who for some reason just has this knack. That's rare. Yeah. And so most trainers, when I look at them, and most systems, when I look at it, I'm just like, you guys are just following a script, and the general population is just losing money and getting unhealthier. CrossFit. CrossFit, perfect example. The reason why I bring up CrossFit, I know everybody's going up for, my CrossFit. Yeah. I love the fact that you guys are so dedicated. I love it. Wish more people were like that. It's kind of cultish, but I love it. Problem is, you guys are so caught up in protecting the name CrossFit that you're not realizing that it could be better, that you can do things better, that you can become, healthier while you do what you do.
Hey, don't you talk about CrossFit?
Yeah.
Don't you do it?
Yeah. I mean, hey, people got to do what they got to do. I'm just here to help out where I can help out. If someone sees, and it's one of the biggest things I've learned in life is that, and you've helped me to understand this actually, is that people aren't ready to hear it until they're ready to hear it. Okay? You can tell them till you die. This is this. But your tribe will form around you. They will hear, they will resonate with you and what you're saying. They will hear about breathing. They will hear about, hey, how important is breathing and what kind of breathing. They will hear about how important is connection and manipulation of different components of the body with just a thought. They will hear what I mean by alignment, not just to be in a position for the sake of being in position, but being in that position for a true purpose and understand why that position is necessary specifically for you, because you may have a different body design that may allow you to do something that someone else can't, and so they have to be aligned slightly different to benefit them. So all of that to me is what I bring to the table as I circle back to why is it that I feel that this is a foundational thing. Why my training is foundational. with what is it? Alignment, assessment, breath, balance, flexion, focus. B, nutrition. What is nutrition really, and how is it different per individual? What is recovery? Is it really REM sleep? Yes, it is. It's not sitting on the couch chilling watching TV. What is training, which is the last one? What is really training? Training in how many modalities do you need to do to necessarily benefit you for your sport or your life or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish? The more variations you have, the better your body will be designed or develop, because it's prepared for a variety of things that you can do, and it will be prepared at its optimal levels for any situation. So to me, if you understand what foundational means, you'll understand why this training is for everyone. Not everyone will appreciate it, but it is for you, whether you appreciate it or recognize it as beneficial or not. It is definitely for you. Now, people have taken bits and pieces of it and gone off and done their own thing, but with that, even I look at it and I'm like, yeah, you're good at it, but you're still missing the essence of some of it. And once again, you take a thing apart too much and you miss the whole point. You really miss the whole point. It's not about taking it apart. It's about taking it apart so that you can master each thing and put it together so that as a whole it works better. That's why I'm saying the industry, fitness or universities or whatever, scholarly industries or, I said universities, all of them have fragments of this. They haven't put it together because they don't have pieces, they have parts, they have fragments. Parts you can put together, like a car. They have parts. You put it together, the car runs. Fragments, a little bit more complicated. Things look like they go together. This nut, you'll screw on this bolt, find out later on that that's not necessarily the nut that should have gone on that bolt, and so you cause yourself a problem later on. So that's what I'm saying when I'm talking about this, is that we've tried to simplify this. It's simple once you understand it, but we've tried to oversimplify it to a point where I believe that we lose in the end. We're always shocked that, oh my goodness, Usain Bolt ran 9.5. Oh, why are you surprised? Because you've already put limitations based on your knowledge. You've put limitations on the human body and our ability to do things. You used to say that, oh, anyone above 6 feet can't run fast. Then Carl Lewis ran at 6'2". And then they complained and was like, oh, well, he's 6'2". Look how slow he gets out. That's a result of being 6'2". Usain Bolt is 6'5". He gets out with you and then starts moving away from you even more. Oh, well, he's an anomaly because you know what? Stop with the excuses. Be quiet. Observe. And recognize the majesty of the human body and mind and spirit. And maybe you'll learn something from that. Maybe you'll find a couple of truths in there. It's not a math test. It really isn't. Anyway,
but
that's...
No, I like that, because we try to standardize things because we want to sound knowledgeable when we speak about things that we haven't done ourselves, we haven't experienced.
Yes. Yes. It's like me getting a stitch. When I first got a stitch running at Burke Lake, and I was halfway around, and my side, I thought somebody shot me. I was looking around when I was running, holding my side, like, did I get shot? I was checking if there was blood. Somebody
help me. I'm dying.
I swore I got shot. Then I was like, okay, I'm not bleeding. Am I dying? I swore I was dying. I was like, what the hell? This hurts. And my boy, I think it was Paul. Paul was in front of me, and they're all better than me by leaps. So they're chilling. Well, they're gone. Paul is somewhere close in the vicinity, at least hanging on. I think he was kind of making sure I was okay. And I'm like, my side. He was like, yo, what's wrong? I was like, I feel this stabbing in my... He was like, and it feels like this in the stab. I was like, yeah. He was like, keep running. I was like, what do you mean keep running? I think I'm dying. He's like, no, you got a stitch. It'll go away in a little bit. Keep running. And he's talking to me like this, like, huh?
No, it won't. It won't ever go away.
I'm going to be dead. It's going to go away when I'm dead. So I'm running, like, holding my side. And he's like, come on, keep running. It's going to go away. Take some deep breaths. And I'm like, I can't. It hurts when I take deep breaths. He's like, it'll be all right. So I'm like, all right. So I keep going. Within like 30 seconds to a minute, it slowly, and it goes away. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, wow, it did go away. That is the difference between knowledge.
Or that thing, and for me anyway,
and experience.
I've heard the term second wind.
Yeah. That wasn't a second wind. That was just escaping death or thoughts of death and pain. That hurts. That hurts. So I swore that I busted something and I was going to just leak out.
Oh, I'm running track in high school and I'm tired like I usually am, and all of a sudden I get this wave and I feel like 10 times better.
Yep.
And I feel like I can run forever.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is what they're talking about.
Yes. I got that once. It was the best feeling ever.
You don't get it too often.
No, you don't. Well, I was glad I got it then, though, because I was in the middle of the woods somewhere that they had taken me. And if I didn't keep... My whole goal was if I can see them, I'll know where I'm going. But if I lose sight of them, I'm done. I don't know where I'm going. This trail is... Yeah. It wasn't Burke Lake. It was somewhere else where I was just like, what? And forced... Dude, it forced me to run. I felt like I was going to die. I had to keep going. I was so tired because I'm not a distance guy. And so I was just like, man, these guys are floating. And all of a sudden, when I thought, snap, I was like, wow, this feels great. And I kept them in sight until we finished and never wanted to do that again. But yeah, that was the first time I experienced my second wind. That's when I knew it existed. I was like, oh, this does exist, which is an interesting thing because that's an experiential thing. I could talk about it all day.
Exactly.
If you've never experienced these things, how do you know? How can you train someone and know, hey, you can sit down over there because you're reacting in a way that I've seen before or that is beyond what I've experienced, and I've experienced dealing with guys at the highest levels. So yeah, you need to sit down. So you have to have that intuitive thing from doing a physical thing. I keep going back to that. Training is a physical thing.
You know, I've seen a lot of the narrative out there about him that this happened because he's not in shape and he's too big. That kid's a freak of nature. Learning how they're going to keep him lean and giving him the core strength and stability and control he needs. In this case, he gains muscle mass so fast and gains weight so fast. No one's ever dealt with anybody like him before. So he's 19. It's going to be a learning experience for all of us.
No, that's Billy down the street. I mean, coming from my neighborhood anyway, my neighborhood, everybody's kind of yoked out. So I don't know what you're talking about. You've never seen this. That's scary that you are in that position to train these people and you don't understand different body types and how to adjust and adapt. The fact that you didn't see him walking into the room and look at his knees and say, whoa, that needs to be addressed immediately. So we need to forget the big weights. We need to focus on certain ancillary muscle groups and connective areas and joints to stabilize this person, because he's powerful, but he's been using up the candle and it's about to break or go out. So we need to make sure that we address this right now. Oh, we need to make him lose weight. No, you don't necessarily need to make him lose weight. You just need to know what the hell you're doing. You're just not really in tuned, or you haven't been taught well enough or experienced enough to understand that this is a project. This individual is the type of individual you've got to take your time with, that you've got to really communicate with, and you've got to develop a slightly different program and protocol in order to address some of the glaring issues that anybody with eyes and any bit of knowledge could have seen from the day he walked into the facility. For me, when I look at it, it frustrates me, because that's, once again, the situation is that these guys, I don't know how they get their jobs. I guess it's because they have a degree and they know somebody who knows someone who knows someone. It's never really anyone who they're seeking out and say, hey, this guy owns his own thing. He's doing his own thing. I heard from a little bird that this guy over here has done some things. Maybe we should bring him in and see what his thoughts are. No one is doing that. They're just taking, oh, I know my cousin or my uncle from so-and-so plays in the NFL, not plays, but is coaching there, so maybe I can be a trainer, and you get in. Because the last time I checked, and this is going to be controversial, but most of the trainers in college, D1, NFL, NBA, major sports, most of the strength training people are white. Yet most of the athletes are black. So I'm trying to figure out why the discrepancy. It's the same with coaching. It's the same with ownership. It's the same with all of that. So I understand the black body. I feel a little bit more, not only because I'm black, because I grew up in the neighborhood with these guys, with the Zions, like Tope. Tope was at school. Tope is this brother who was like 5'9". When I say this dude was yoked, it was like someone chiseled him out of black marble. And I asked Tope one day, I said, dude, bruh, how are you so chiseled? I never get to see you come through the gym. I mean, I'm not here all the time, but he's like, dude, I don't even need to go. I said, I lift once a week, maybe. He's like, I'll walk by the gym and get bigger. I'm afraid to lift. I'm like, okay, I get it. Me, if I lift my upper body, it'll blow up. Legs, it'll take forever. You have to balance. You have to understand body types and understand that they're combination bodies. And what is best for one person is not necessarily best for someone else. And these guys are all doing these German and Russian lifts and snatches and, oh, it makes you powerful. Well, pause for a minute. First of all, most of those guys never really won any real Olympic anything except for weightlifting. And the ones that did, we found out were on juice. So, the black Americans back in the day when the juice disappeared from the Russians and the Germans, was, first of all, we were dusting you anyway. We were dusting them anyway. But once the juice stopped, they definitely was getting dusted. So they're different body types. There's some white dudes that can roll. There's a new young cat, Matthew, I think it's Matthew Bowling. He goes to Georgia. Young track cat, white guy, white kid. Fast, 45 point in the 400 indoors. can run since high school. There are body types in every ethnicity, as I would call it, that are fast, that are strong, that are designed a specific athletic way. Okay? It seems that the melanated people have demonstrated more of a propensity to have a more athletic, developed frame in a specific way for sports, such as soccer, for all sports, pretty much. So why are all their trainers, or the vast majority of the trainers, people who cannot necessarily relate to their design? I've always wondered that since I've been in this field. I've always wondered that. Why is that the case? What do you think, we can't train? Is that what it is? I mean, I know Zion William with Taupe. I know others like what's his name for basketball, Rose. All his injuries Derrick Rose, all the injuries he was having. I was looking at it saying, do you guys understand how powerful this guy is? And how
that was a shame, because they get, and what they'll say is this athlete is injury prone.
No, exactly, and it's not. It's because you don't understand his body type. The way, when I watch Derrick Rose step and move, I'm just like, oh my goodness, this guy is beyond explosive. And his explosive isn't just, it's quick. It's, and he's gone. One of my clients was similar to him, and that's Ira. Ira is just a beast. So you have to understand what is going on. Ira, his design is very interesting because his knee, he's kind of not kneed a little, kind of like Zion, but he's supposed to be taller. You can tell by some of his designs, such as his hands and whatever. But for some reason, he stopped at 6'4" or 6'5" or something like that. Can't remember exactly. But I worked on his ankle strength before this was even popular at all, through the Bosu ball and some other things. I told him, I said, your issue is here, 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 and here. I believe anyway. Let's address it and see how it, fixes. After about 4 weeks, about a month and a little bit, he comes back. He says, I can go to my left. I said, what? What does that mean? He said, I couldn't, for some reason, I didn't have the strength or the confidence to step to the left and go left. He's like, after I've trained with you for this thing, I went to my left with the same feel and the same. I said, that's good. That's what I need from you. He was like, yes, thank you. Because now I'm not limited to one area or one side without feeling uncomfortable. All I did was help his ankle and his feet stability, which in turn helped his knee. And we worked on other things too, but you have to address the little things that, tighten this small bolt that no one thinks about. Which is funny because it brings me back once again to a story that I read. There was this massive ship engine that needed to be fixed. It was broken, and the guy was like, listen, we've gone through everyone and no one knows how to fix this thing. And so they called this one old dude who's been doing it forever. And they said, hey, listen, we've tried everything. We've called everybody. No one can find the problem. Can you at least try? He's like, okay. So he comes through. He looks around. He spends about an hour or so looking around the entire engine, every nook and cranny and whatever. He goes in his bag, pulls out this small hammer, small like pin hammer, walks over to a certain part of the engine and goes, gave it a couple of taps, pap, 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 the engine, boom. And they're like, wait, what? So about a week later or so, they get the bill, $10,000. The guy flips his wig and says, wait, You got to explain to me, why is this bill $10,000? All you did was tap it with a hammer. He says, oh, really? He said, tapping it with a hammer was $2. My 45 years of experience, yeah, that's 9,900 and whatever. So he's like, that's the cost. And it says experience. That really is the key. You have to have gone through things long enough to touch every piece. And even then you may not get the answer. But you're closer to the answer if you're passionate enough about it and you've had enough time around the mechanics of the thing. You can hear little things that someone else wouldn't hear. So that honestly is why I think more people of color, I have to say, I don't like saying black people because I didn't make up the terminology. It was given. So I'll use it for that, but I like to always put a disclaimer that I don't like saying that because I'm not the one who called myself black. Somebody else made that up for me. Like, I don't like calling Japan, Japan. I like calling Japan, Nippon, because that's what they call themselves. So I don't like changing someone's name, like me walking up to somebody and say, hey, Eddie, my name is Joseph. Yeah, Eddie. What? That's just not cool. So anyway, enough of that. I think more of us need to be involved in training, strength training, than actually is in the higher levels. I also believe that the curriculum has to change drastically. I mean, it has to be pretty much destroyed and rebuilt. It has to be rebuilt. Now, a lot of things are still valid, such as understanding of the anatomy and what have you. But I think a lot of things are missing with regards to understanding of the functionality of the body. And sometimes knowing too much about the inner workings of a thing blinds you to the true essence of a thing. You're too close to it. You know what I mean? Like you get lost in the mechanics of it and you forget about the spirit of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, hopefully that's it. Thanks for helping me out and talking with me, because this is, I guess, my best way to do this and be able to communicate. Hopefully I can use this and let some other people hear what I have to say, but we'll see.